All right, welcome everybody to Anime Talk Radio episode 6. I am sitting here with my wonderfully horrible co-hosts, starting with me, myself, and I, which is the Ed Boy, following by...
I guess Eric.
I guess I'm Forrest, I think.
Your local drunk boy, Josh.
Wait, no, hold on. That's me. We will not take the title.
Oh, wait,
listen,
but
this
wait,
is
that
Josh.
might be me.
That's not you, though. That's me.
Wait. I'm not drunk.
That's me. That's
Sure,
me.
okay, sure. Exactly, that's you. And, yeah, exactly. So we're all
Only
here.
one.
Why?
I'm not the one that writes the rules, dude.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just kind of
okay.
here just co-writing the ways that were already preset.
Listen,
Alright,
me and
I feel
Eric
you,
are
I feel
just
you.
shelling. We're sharing a giant bowl of Jello shot. Like we're literally eating it out of a bowl with a spoon. So
We're learning how to
I
make
feel you,
them,
I
but that's
feel
all
you.
right.
I feel you. So this episode, we're going to go over some
Couple
of the
different
things.
things.
Yeah, some different things. We're going to go over a little
lot
bit
of
of
things.
some of the shows. Some of the shows we're I guess we're impressed with or disappointed with this current season. We're also probably going to go into how we feel about certain openings and stuff like this, and how that has affected us and all that stuff, and what we think is great about them. And finally, last but not least, we're going to talk about the wonderfulness that is lollies.
that is.
I don't think
lollies.
that should be final. I think it should be what we start with.
You want to start with that one?
Yeah,
You want to
'cause
start with lollies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So
damn,
lollies.
getting heavy
All right.
quick.
So, going straight off the bat with lollies. Last week I was memeing, or last other
It was
week.
like
I don't
2
fucking.
weeks ago. at
I don't
this point,
fucking
yeah.
care, dude. When it last happened, when we talked about lollies, I was quasi memeing, quasi real, 100% real here. I'm okay with lollies. I'm okay with people looting them. I'm okay with people doing shit. My main gripe with lollies is if the over accentuation, I guess, of what people have, of what they represent, or how the culture generally of I guess weebs
Give
or
an
anime.
example.
Yeah.
So when I've all anecdotal, just right off the bat,
Yeah.
all anecdotal, all my conversations with people that don't watch anime and all the people that are barely discussing about anime, they're like, "Oh, but you guys you lewd kids. They don't say lewd, but you know it's
Yeah.
in context.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
basically just say we're pedos.
pervertedly,
Yeah, basically.
you
Yeah.
pervertedly look at children and shit. I was like, hold up, we don't do that shit. We're like it's different per
It's a
person per
small
person.
portion of
Yeah.
the.
Of the
Yeah.
community,
Bowl,
I guess
yeah.
you could say,
Yeah.
the
Right,
community.
Right. So mine biggest push for being okay with lollies is the study that happened, I think, in Sweden and Switzerland. I'm not entirely sure, but there was a study that pushed the association of actual pedophiles being okay and like I guess dispersing their urges that they have with the medium that is lollies, that they didn't have to pursue in real life shit, and that was some sort of a way to help I guess tame them and tame
Well,
like their
Yeah,
in
I've
real
heard
life.
that.
I guess
It's like the GTA effect, where it's like, if I'm gonna do this in a game, I'm not gonna do it in real life. It kind of deters people from actually doing it because they're indoors.
It helps
They're not outside.
let off steam.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
same time, though, it's private artists that lewd the lollies. Like the
Right.
lollies are never looted in show because you're talking about like, and not only that, lolly is like it's such a broad term.
Hold up. I don't know about. Sorry about cutting you off, but I don't know about that not looting them in shows because there was the 3 Rock whatever
Okay.
the show about like this.
Okay,
There's
I
a
know
lot
what-
of
I know what you're
there's a
fucking
lot
talking
of
about.
recent examples.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
they're,
You're
like they
not
do
wrong.
they do push for looting
You're-
lollies,
you're
but
not
like
wrong.
I
I
get
think-
the
I
Oh,
general
they
think-
push
I
to
idea.
think-
loot everybody. At
Yeah.
that
I
point.
think you and I got through like 2 episodes of that
I
before we got
finished-
really uncomfortable. Holy shit, you finished it?
I don't know how. I don't know why. I just I don't know what it was. I guess it
Bro.
was some sense of like masochism. I guess it was like, why am I watching this? Why am I?
You finished it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll share. I'll give you a TLDW. Like I didn't get much. You kind of knew what you were getting into when you started watching the show,
yeah.
but like there was some sketchy scenes. I'm like,
Oh, of course there were.
Oh my
Good
god.
lord.
Well, I was just gonna say like lolly's a pretty big spectrum because you like at the bottom of the spectrum, you're talking like the shogi show.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're talking straight up like 7, 8-year-old little girls that just act cutesy, and the MC is just like, let me pat your head for a sec, right? And they just play shogi, but and then you go up to like a hypersexualized character like my personal favorite, Rory Mercury, who is
Solid pick.
She's pretty much considered a loli, even though in the show she's like a little over 300 years old, but she's portrayed as
Hold
like
up, let's get into
Like
that.
the-
Let's get into that. Hold
What
up.
is a loli though?
So for me, and what I've also always defined and also had backing with, like, I guess Webster's like online dictionary and like a bunch of online discussions, it seems like loli was always like a preteen or earlier child.
Yeah.
That was that was just a female girl.
So,
Right?
so,
That
it's
was the
not,
thing.
so it's not just body type. It's like actual.
No,
age.
It's the
it's
actual age
age.
thing.
Yeah.
So the other girls, for me personally, what I always looked at was that they were just petite girls. Because like I don't know about you guys, but for me, I've had a lot of experiences where there was like a lot of girls that were just small.
Well, my
They were
favorite
small as
show.
fuck, and they were like, all right.
My favorite show is Toradora, and Taiga is a small girl.
Oh, there's
And
that.
She's,
I
she's
would,
high school.
I
age.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say she's a lolly.
No, that's what
No,
I'm saying. But she's
definitely
petite.
not.
Yeah. So for my thing, I don't know about how you guys feel about this or how you agree, but I would say that lollies are specifically between the age group of like preteen, let's say maybe 14 and lower
Okay.
to just
I can
whatever
see
So,
the
that,
fuck
yeah.
it is.
so in
Yeah.
that essence, talking about seeing that you're the only other one who's watched Monogatari, it'd be like the difference between Hachikuji and Shinobu.
That's a good. That's a good point. That's a good point. For me, I wouldn't say Shinobu's a lolly.
No, that's why, because you have like the smaller version of this like 400-year-old vampire.
It's different though in her thing because, sorry, I've been drinking and I kind of get the hiccups. But with Shinobu's spiel, there's this trait of hers where she goes through different phases of her body type.
Yes.
How she was in different ages
Yes.
because of how she was with her sustainability with blood or whatever the fuck else.
Yes.
So there were moments where she had a lolly-esque body, but her herself is just like this 100-year-old thing.
Well-
So personally, I'm with Shinobu is the one out of millions where I wouldn't be like.
'Cause there's other
lolly,
shows
not lolly.
with vampires that have the lolly look, but they're you get the
Or-
400-year-old, so you kind of pushing them.
Or we have the lollies like Kana-chan.
Shut the fuck up.
She's a dragon. She's hundreds of years old.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
we're like, what's the word? In reference, I guess, to the rest of the dragons and shit. She is a kid.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like,
I guess,
due to
okay,
what we
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
she is a kid.
yeah.
Even like
if
from
we
the
were to-
way she acts and everything,
yeah,
it's
if
very
we were to put
kid-like.
if we were to put her in human age, she'd be a kid. She'd be like the other kid
That
that
makes
she
sense.
flirts
So
around with.
we're talking kind of like dog years to human years. pretty
Well,
much.
yeah, exactly,
Kind of.
and it's just like the way she portrays herself. Like you said before, Rory Mercury does not portray herself as a kid.
Hell no, brother.
Hell no.
Shinobu doesn't either in the Monogatari series. I mean, it's like
But again, Shinobu's a rare trait because she actually goes through the body that she had
Yeah.
during a certain age. Like
Yeah.
she goes
Right.
through her teenage
So-
age group.
Wait. So if it's age, so it's all the people that sells at work, lolis, because they only live for like a
The
day.
platelets.
Oh,
the,
Jesus Christ.
I think-
oh, okay, you're gonna,
so the thing that I have with the platelets, I don't know so far right now because they haven't portrayed how they look like when they grow up or when they get closer to the age
Well, 'cause
that when
they-
they die.
I don't
If
think they
say
do.
that if they say that same body type and that same mental age when they get older, then sure, I would bring about the argument that they're probably lollies throughout their entire life because that's just their mental.
All I
Yeah.
know
State
is
of being.
that by week 2 of Cells at Work, I saw looted platelets. Like it was
Of
so
course.
fast.
Week 2, dude. I saw it by week 1,
It
motherfucker.
was
What you talking
so
about?
It was so fucking fast. So can we? What? So basically, like,
So lolis are to us
So-
based on age.
their actual age.
Well,
Yes.
their age based on.
well, age. I think it's a mixture of age and body type together.
Okay, so if we're talking about, if we're talking like, let's say a new show comes out, right?
Yes.
It's like a 14-year-old girl, pretty much like in terms of body type, attitude, things like that.
Yes.
But it turns out to be revealed that like, oh, she's an elf. She's actually like 180 years old. Lolly?
I think it also depends on character type and everything and how the person acts.
So how they portray themselves. pretty
Yes.
much. So that pretty much is the Rory Mercury argument.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
She in the show, it literally says that she is personified in a 17-year-old girl's body. However, she's like 342 years old, but she in no way carries herself as a 17-year-old. She's like a 20-something year old that like gets bloodlust and like sexual drive when she doesn't kill anybody. So
Yeah.
so she's like a persona. She in terms of like if you were to look at her, she's like gothic Lolita personified.
Yes.
But in terms of like, is she a lolly? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, and I think that's just kind of where we have to put the distinction at. So I mean,
So in a way, it could almost be like as on a character by character basis.
Yeah.
So like Shogi show,
Yeah.
fucking lolly as hell.
oh, of
Yeah.
course,
That shit
it
is
is.
so lolly.
Oh, of course it is. That's exactly what that is.
Kana-chan, given like the age difference that Eric pointed out between dragons and humans, okay, yeah, lolly as fuck.
Yeah, even like
But-
the way she acts and everything, it's very
Well, I was gonna say about that show is, does she age slower then?
probably.
So would she always be that?
Kana from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, I would
from
think
from
so.
the
like-
from the perspective of human, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
most
because I'm
likely.
reading the manga and it's like does she get older? Because they don't really. Obviously, there's no time really movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's a manga.
Yeah.
So it's like if she gets older and the forehead girl. Because if they're going through the same age periods, it's like, will she get way older and then kind of be the same looking from?
It's possible.
Wait, forehead girl from Kobayashi?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought for a second that you were maybe confusing.
No.
We were talking
No,
about
no,
no,
human
no,
characters.
no,
Like,
no. No. The one in Kobayashi.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that's
Yeah.
a Yuri type of
I mean,
relationship.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
it's very possible. That's exactly how it's going to turn out.
Yeah. Well, it's just weird. You're just like, it's like, oh
Which
man.
is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the way that works.
But does that mean she'll be a pedo when she gets older?
It's-
I mean, dude, it's 2018. Women can't be pedos. You know this.
Oh my god, you just blew my mind. I
Oh
forgot.
my gosh. But good lord.
I mean, oh my god.
But yeah.
I just remember the group chat conversation of everyone trying to convince everyone else that I'm into Shota, and
Oh.
I just got Vietnam
You
flashback.
are though. Hold up.
No, I'm fucking
to
not.
our two viewers
for the record.
Sorry, Mom.
Wait, on which
Sorry, Jaden.
planet did you just get the idea that I'm into Shota?
This one.
Just now.
Yeah, hold up. We'll
Sure.
ask your wife. Hey, Melissa, is Josh and the little boys?
Okay, so it's not Shota though.
So she said he
Okay.
likes dick.
Is our like the male equivalent of lollies.
My wife's shit talking me off the podcast right now. You guys. probably
Melissa
can't
just
hear it.
Yeah.
confirmed that Josh likes dick, and
But
also that he
not
likes
Shota.
he also likes Shotas.
No, that's.
Don't let this distract you from the.
Oh my God. All right, you know what?
From the
at
real
this, at this
issue
point,
here.
it's 2018. Stop kink shaming.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not gonna kink shame you, but at the
I'm
same
with
time,
you.
there's some legal boundaries that you shouldn't cross. that I'm a little concerned about, but that's.
Well, if
that's
it's
all right.
anime form, it's it's okay.
Listen, I'm not into Shota. I'm just not.
There's a new Shota show that's out right now.
I'll be honest, like I've read Shota Dojin and it's really fucking awkward.
I can't.
do
All right,
it.
dude. So your boy here likes the fap. I'll be honest. It's something that.
Does anyone at this table not
all
like
right,
to
all right,
fap?
all right.
I don't fap,
so,
Mom, I'm sorry.
Dojins are typically my go-to because I typically like the quasi immersion that comes with looking in the characters.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Like, I can't read just any Dojin and be like, hey, yeah, this year I'm off. But it's like, yo, I need some sort of a story here to make me think like, yo, that's
Eric's about to come out
I
as a
feel it.
Shota fan.
all right. So, there's a lot of Shota Dojins that come out, and they don't
There's
tell
a
me
lot.
that they don't tell me
Oh,
they're
yeah,
Shota.
there's shit tons.
There's a shit ton that come up
You
saying
never
that they're
know.
Shota.
Like
Yeah.
on the cover, you'll just see like a really big-breasted
No,
like
no,
female.
not even
character.
that. Like you read the tags before you jump into it. It's like this is Shota. This is not Shota. Like all right, cool. I'll jump into it. Non-Shota tagged. I jump into that. It's like by the way, it's a Shota. It's like nope, I'm out. You
I was
lost
like,
me.
why
That's it.
you got to do this to me?
Well, time to go back and browse some
It
more.
sounds like
Hopefully
you
my
need a
heart
better
on keeps
website.
up.
Exactly.
Ooh.
No, but yeah, Shotas. No, I don't fuck with that.
No, fuck that noise.
No.
I
And,
look-
and honestly, like as far as like lolly dojins go, I won't fuck with that either.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
so
no.
with me,
No.
I've read a couple because they were like those accidental like, oh, here's not a little one. I've also read ones that had the lolly tag with them,
Uh-huh.
but I couldn't feel anything. For me, it was just like, why the fuck are you doing this, dude? What the fuck? She's a
Yeah,
kid,
yeah.
dude. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like
But have I read dojins with Rory Mercury? 110%.
always, motherfucker.
110%. For those of you that don't know, listening to this podcast, the entire bottom side of my left forearm is covered in a Rory Mercury tattoo.
You fap to your tattoo?
It's on my left arm, so
Dude,
I guess it's
how you wake.
possible.
It's how
You
you.
can
It's how
fap
you
with the
gonna wake
same
up.
arm.
It's how you wake up.
I mean, it's on the opposite arm that I would use, so it's 100% possible.
There you go.
But yes,
There you go.
I mean, so I don't know. So it sounds to me like we're for the most part on the same page. So basically, like, is it a traditional loli is going to be based off of like a number of different factors? Most importantly, being the age range and how the character themselves actually carries themselves as a character.
Well,
Yes.
Another thing, specifically looking at the Shinobu case, you have to take into consideration what happens to them. Like with the Shinobu case, she reverts back to how she was physically as a kid during her regular lifespan.
That's pretty
and
rare,
shit.
though. I've never
But
seen
yeah,
that.
yeah, I get it. It's a specific case. It's an exception. I get it. But through further motions that come up with a similar mentality, we have to come up with a similar mindset when addressing this sort of
Yeah,
shit.
I mean-
but for the regular, most of them are either they're like hundreds of years old, but relatively they're still kids. Like so, like no.
Well, no, I think if that's the case with her character, it's pretty clear that she's not a loli.
No, it's
Like,
funny too
if at
because
some point on the show you get to see her adult form, like
oh
I
yeah,
would say
I'm a
that
loli.
she is while she's in the child form. To be honest,
if she, like, does she
Look,
carry
look,
herself
but
like
no,
that?
she doesn't carry herself in
Her
it.
dialogue is very
no,
off.
I know she addresses herself like she is like currently. Actually, she is like a middle-aged woman, still addressing herself as a middle-aged woman. But the thing is, still physically, she went back to how she was as a kid. And even though she's not acting as if she were a kid, still physically how she was as a kid.
Has she been looted as a kid?
Of
Oh, yeah.
course.
Dude,
Hell
there's
yeah.
so many dojins.
Oh, hell yeah! Oh no,
Everything.
that's not.
Damn.
Most of them are
Damn.
Netherware, don't forget. But
We don't talk about
never
those.
forgetty the Nitterware spaghetti. Oof.
I've been so tilted.
Eric,
Don't read those,
okay,
man.
so
Why do you read that?
another PSA for the podcast listeners, all three of you. Eric's favorite tag is NTR.
Listen. All right, so
True.
Netherware. The reason I like Netherware
There it is.
more than
Listen, he
other
said it. It's
dojins.
recorded.
So more than so the reason I like referring to Netherware more than other dojins or other
Eric-
genres
Eric,
of dojins
who cooked you?
is because a lot of people. The reason I refer to them the most is because they have the best art style and typically the best story progression. And it's something I'm
This
like,
is a
all right,
dojin.
I'll keep going. Right.
Hey, there can
Yeah,
be
I'm
good
not-
story in dojins, mate.
Dude,
Yeah, but
that's
I'm
the
not
whole
there for
reason.
NTR.
That's the whole reason I jump into dojins. Because if not, I'd go right back into Pornhub. That's the
At
thing.
what point? At what
But I
point
just-
during the story progression does your hand stop moving and you just put your hand up to your head and you're like,
That's
oh my
the thing.
god.
See, so for me, depending on how the main character that is getting the Netherware reacts, all right? So, like, for me, if the main character is just someone who's off in the background, isn't really focused, isn't really portrayed whatsoever, it's like, oh, yeah, I have a wife, but I don't really talk to her. I'm not ever home. I'm always at work. It's like, so you're not really in the story. Cool. It's like, so I'm basically watching the story of another guy who's actually interested in this other lover, if you would, actually go out of his way to try to.
See, to me,
So-
those are more cheating than NTR. Because, like,
Yeah.
NTR, I feel like the other
Is-
person
is-
has
isn't
to
there-
be
But for
there.
me,
Isn't there another tag too? Isn't
Yeah,
like-
there's
yeah.
NTR.
Netori.
Yeah,
Netori.
the
So it
Netori
follows
tag.
the same thing, NTR, but one is Netorare and the other one's Netori.
Yeah.
With Netorare, it's just someone else doing that to the main character, whereas with the Netori, the main character is the person doing that to what is supposed to be the husband or whatever
So,
else.
Yeah.
like, it's the
So
difference
any-
between
any
being
basic-
a homewrecker and not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically like the difference between any like drama, like Western drama, in comparison to a romantic comedy.
So
Yeah.
what you're
Pretty
saying
much.
so what you're saying is you read these and you specifically can't nut until the main character realizes they've been cooked.
No. So my main so with Netorares, I don't really like what gets me there is just not going to like that headspace, if you would, where you're just not thinking like, oh yeah, the art's really good and just nut type of thing. But whereas with
Over the art?
yeah, so the
What else?
dude, some of it's really fucking good. But then like with Netoris, it's just like the whole story progression overall. To be honest, for me, it's just like I don't know, like the story of like a guy going through all this bullshit to try to get to the girl that he like, not just like that he like lusts for, but one that I actually like cares for, I guess. Like it's something that goes within the Tori tag. Some of them are just like, oh yeah, just gonna lust after this particular lover, and then go about with the daily doings. But then,
Uh.
with some of them are like, yo, there's like some actual backstory to this. Like, say they were like
Friends or
childhood
something.
friends,
Yeah, I've
and
seen
then
those.
one she gets married off to someone else because of family business or because of whatever the fuck else, and he goes through all this bullshit of like trying to convince her to be like, no, actually you cared for me, I cared for you, and it goes through like this story arc. It's essentially like a little story.
See, to me, it's not as bad
Or-
when you don't have to see the other person, like the one who's getting cucked.
Right.
Because then you feel bad for that guy too. It's like when you
It
see
depends,
both
though.
stories.
It depends though, because like
It's-
some of the times I honestly don't care for the main character
It's like
if he's such a
the-
bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
yeah.
the whole the romantic comedy, like the Western romantic comedy kind of shindig that happens all the time.
And then
Right.
you have cases like Erased,
Oh yeah.
where the MC just straight up goes into a coma, wakes up, and his best friend has his previous
This is the
GF
house of
pregnant.
Kotori. Don't you ever mention that?
We don't talk about that. We
So
don't talk about that shit.
Eric is 100% read Erased Dojins at this point.
I've actually read one.
Oh, there it is.
Dude, it was the most depressing shit I've ever read.
no!
Why'd
Like-
you finish it then? I just have to be like, I'm done.
I mean,
can't.
we finished good
I wasn't
endings,
even
so-
half up. Like I was just honestly reading this to see, well, what the fuck did people think about this? Is this like a good ending? I'm gonna assume by the cover art that it isn't, but I'm always hopeful. I jump in and it's like take the feeling of depression and the feeling of resent that you have in Erased and multiplicatively amplify that. That
Okay.
is such a depressing feeling, and I was like,
Hell yeah.
why am I going through this? Like for me, the reason I was going through Erased, I don't know about you, Josh, but for me personally, what kept me going, one, I found the murder story pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Two, I cared quite a fucking lot about both main characters, both the male and the female. One for everything he had to go through to try to fix all the
Yeah.
wrongings, and the female because of her background, I just cared so much about her. She was such a precious little child.
I really liked Erased because it was fucking great.
Yeah.
And and then there's the last
With a shitty ending.
There's the last 10 minutes where the MC gets NTR'd and he rolls himself off a roof in a wheelchair. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But
Oh, spoilers for a show that's what, 2 years old? Like,
3 years old.
listen, I don't know who's listening to this podcast right now. I
Jaden.
don't want them to hate me.
Jaden and Forrest's mom,
Jaden, don't hate me. I hope you've seen
and
Erased.
me later on. And
Damn.
I won't listen to it.
Damn. Well, okay, so lollies have been covered for whatever reason. We
So- Well,
covered
we might as
knitwear
well just
really
keep
well.
going down. What about tentacle porn?
Oh no.
all right.
So tentacle porn was
Let's go all the
actually
way down.
so tentacle porn was actually the absolute main reason why episode 1 of Shokugeki no Soma wrote my ass in like that.
Yeah, because it was like a counterculture type of jab at something that's so
Yes.
established. I was
It
like,
was
this
not.
is hilarious.
It was
That's-
not actually tentacle porn. There was no lewd. There was no
Oh,
nudity.
yeah.
No nothing
No,
like
hold
that.
up. There was lewd, but there was
No, so it was lewd, but there was no nudity. There was nothing directly sexual portrayed in the animation. But when I saw that peanut butter covered tentacle go up, go
Yes.
up, what's her name's leg? I was like,
Yes.
I'm fuck. And mind you, this is like 10 minutes into the first episode. Like, I'm sold on the show for fucking life.
Yeah.
So let's get it.
Yeah. And from there, I've been watching the show religiously. I've been.
Hell
keeping
yeah.
the
I'm caught up.
manga.
I'm caught up on the manga 100%.
I'm
so
almost caught up. Almost.
Yeah, I'm
it's-
almost
it's
caught
so
up as
good.
well.
Holy shit!
I probably missed the last few chapters, but not
I like how Forrest brought it up like a meme though, and we just fucking rolled with it like Shokugeki no Soma.
Might as well.
Like,
because Shokugeki's
Well,
the shit.
Well, with like the thing with that, with tentacle porn, I'm after watching as much hentai as I have, as much doujins that I have, I'm okay with tentacle porn.
There's
But
nothing really
I
inherently
wrong.
don't go out of my way to look for
I
it.
think it's just
not my preference.
weird.
I think-
'cause it's
well,
like,
I think culturally it's interesting for the pure fact that why it came about,
well, yeah.
which to me is probably the most interesting about it.
It comes from like the old style, like the really old art styles.
Well,
right?
no, well, yes.
So,
So-
Eddie and Forrest watched the Anthony Bordelli interview. Bourdain, sorry, of his
Rest in
interview
peace.
with
Rest in peace. yeah.
Rip, dude. I fucking love them. But his interview with the OG creator of tentacle porn in
I did
general.
not know
And then-
that.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like the way he talked about it, because obviously when he started it, there was censors, which obviously there's still censors in like Japanese porn and stuff like that, right?
Sure.
Obviously, but there was a lot more, and it was a lot more strict.
Huh.
So tentacle porn was a loophole in the idea that you can't show human genitalia, but you can show a phallic-shaped squid thingy
yeah. As long as it's not a dick.
doing shit. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Just going straight up through the ass,
Yeah,
ending him out through the mouth, back in the vagina.
exactly.
It's
so
fine. It's not a dick.
exactly, and that was his loophole. And it's funny because those first mangas are also extremely violent, as all these other things that were just meant to circumvent a lot of like the censorship laws at the time.
It's
And
kinda-
then it just blew up.
It's
from
kind
there.
of the idea of trying to put a generation or some sort of a group to kind of be not numb or desensitized, but used to the idea of certain extremes, so that when less extreme shit comes out, they're like, yeah, all right, I'm okay
Yeah.
with it.
As far as like a porn genre, as far as it goes, like there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's
No.
just not for
It's just
me.
weird. It's just
It's all
it's
about
just
the
strange.
dark elf, my boy.
I
What you
think
know about that shit?
I think it's funny to see it in TV shows.
Plenty.
Same.
I think it's funny to see it in TV shows because obviously they're memeing across the culture. That they're
Oh,
like,
yeah, obviously.
Oh yeah, this is how it became popular. And but
Yeah, you even
actually,
see that like in Power Rangers, or you see that in what's the name of that one solo superhero like a Power Ranger?
Ultraman.
Is it? I think it's Ultraman. Yeah, actually, I think it is. Yeah, he has similar feels, and
Yeah.
there's also like some movies that reference it, some couple popular books that reference that sort of shit. Like, as
But as I said, it just started as this counterculture at the time because of censorship laws,
Right.
and now it just blew up to this big thing, and it's basically a meme.
now they censor everything.
So real quick before we move on to like our shows this season and stuff. Favorite hentai tag, go.
Happy sex.
I can't, I can't really do happy sex because it seems so
Bland.
bland. Yeah,
A lot
of
like
it is
it's just like
bland.
Yeah.
A, B, C, we're done, and
Yeah.
it's like, all right. I don't know. For me,
Or childhood
I'm
friend.
I'm
alligator.
torn between nakadashi, I think, which is basically cream pies,
Yeah.
Wow.
or surprisingly not harems, but I like referencing a lot of childhood friends, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, even though that
Yeah,
dips
yeah.
into netorares and netoris
Yeah.
sometimes, the general tag itself, I feel like it's produced enough gems for me that I like. That's
well,
like
because
something I
that can
to.
go almost anywhere.
Also, dark elves, never forget.
Dude,
Those-
dark
Never
elves are the
forget
shit,
the
dude.
dark elves
Just like
spaghetti.
elves, dude. It's just it's
I would say-
Well, it's always
general.
elves and orcs, and you're just like,
I would
oh,
say-
No, hold up. No, I'm missing with that
You're like,
orc
oh,
shit.
no.
Hold up, we ain't about that life,
That's what I'm
man.
saying. You're
We
like,
ain't
oh,
about
no,
that.
I don't want to read that.
Redacted. Redacted.
We ain't about that life.
I would say childhood friend or monster girls.
Ah,
Yo,
Monster
Monster
Girls
Girls,
are good.
that's
Monster
I think
Girls
my
are
third
good.
favorite,
That's a
to
good
be
tag.
honest.
That's a good
Yeah,
tag. I like
I'm
that
also
one.
double
tag.
dipping that into Animal Girls, to be honest. For me,
I-
they're the
they're
same.
same,
For
they're
me,
the
they're the
same.
same.
Because
Yeah.
if you're talking like Neko
Yeah.
and dogs and
They're technically a monster because they're
Yeah,
not.
but when
Yeah.
I think monsters, I think like harpies,
Lamias,
lamias.
yeah.
Harp-
I was thinking
Lamias
harpies
are
and
my
lamias.
favorite. Yo, lamias supersede fucking fox girls, to be honest. And fox
Fuck
girls are
no.
pretty top tier.
Fuck no.
Yo,
no,
for
no,
me-
Fox
fuck-
Girls
For
are top
me
tier.
personally, after enough stories that I've seen, like there's enough. What convinced me to like lamias more than fox girls, for all the lamia dojins that mostly I've read, they've been so like right in the soul.
They're usually
And it's
pretty
like,
wholesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they hit me right in the feelings. I'm like, I fuck with this. I get you, girl.
So
I
what,
get
they
you.
like hug each other and kiss after they do it. One of them has a cigarette or what?
So there's
you
like,
lost me.
so the backstories. So with the dojins that I've been looking into, there's a lot of backstories up until the point where they actually do it. It's like, an example is one girl with like low self-esteem. She gets quasi bullied or actually bullied. I guess I'm
Is
not
it
entirely
because
sure.
she has a giant snake tail.
Yes,
It's
because she has a
mostly
giant
because
snake
of the
tail.
snake tail, or another thing that bring up, it's also because of the social status that comes with being a lamia, as opposed to like the snake's tail itself. It's like, oh, just be by genetics, I guess you're lesser of a being than the rest of us, type of thing, and they get bullied or they have low self-esteem, and it's like the turnaround that they have with finding someone that actually supports them and actually like sees them as like an individual as opposed to seeing them as like just one of the other types type of thing.
So
Gets me.
So when you read these specific dojins, like the ones you just explained, do you just read it to read it, and then eventually, as they start getting into the actual part that dojins are pretty well known for is when you're just like, all right, yeah, this is going, or
Most
or-
of them, yeah,
or
most of
basically,
them.
basically when the Lami is just getting straight bullied, you're like, this is so fucking hot.
No, for me, it's the former that you mentioned out of the two. It's like those turnarounds that they have, and like the investment that I have because I saw what they went through, what the main character has gone through to try to get them out of the headspace that they had of that shitty environment, and the wholesomeness, or yes, what's the word? The intimacy that comes between those specific scenarios. I'm like, yeah, I fuck with this. I fuck
Damn.
with this quite a lot.
I thought we'd have something in common in thinking bullying was hot.
No, thank you.
No. BDSM? Then? Is that your
Yo,
favorite?
Okay, so I would say to me in general, there's like 3 levels of BDSM. There's like really light shit like handcuffs. There's middle ground where you talk about like tying up with ropes and stuff, but there's not a whole lot in
or sometimes
between.
blindfolding.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
not a lot.
And
of
then there's
that's
that
low to
extreme
me.
with like the
Yeah,
full body
and-
suit,
and then you get
the
to
physical
3.
torture and shit.
And then you get to 3 where there's like whipping and
I can't.
like
the torture is too
like
far.
a horse crop.
For
and
me,
shit.
the most I think, I don't know, I haven't ventured too much into it. I would say I would dabble more into the level 2, as you
two.
referenced.
two,
But,
two
like,
for sure.
Mostly, I guess, level 1.
But the problem is though, is like BDSM and dojins generally go
Way too far.
100.
Way
they go
too far.
100%.
It's 100 or 1.
Let
there
me
isn't
rip off
even-
their arms.
Well, no,
That's
so
the-
the thing is like Dojin BDSM, there is no 1 to 100. Like the shit just starts off at 100 and never goes lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's this girl who got sold off because of family debt. Now here are her legs thrown apart in
Well,
the
it's
cost of
something like
fucking building.
BDSM with
pretty
rape.
much.
Her eyes gouged out. She's like, I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't want to sign up for some
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's almost like the Dojin creators were just like, so Americans do BDSM. Let's put it in Dojins, except with dismemberment.
Like,
And
you
we'll just
lost
roll
me.
with that.
You
Well,
lost me.
The
You
problem
lost me.
with BDSM, there's a lot of rape involved too. So it's just like
Yo,
it's one.
I'll
of
be
the-
honest.
Oh god.
I'm okay with some of the rape dojins that they come up
stop,
with.
Stop.
All right.
Stop.
So,
Stop.
Let's just move on.
Where's the safe word?
all right. So
No,
looking
no.
detaching detaching that
Nope.
from actual rape, I'm not okay with. But like as far as it comes to dojins,
Listen.
again, fictional works, and because of like the backstory goes into it and all the other shit, I'm like, I'm okay with this. I'll tolerate this shit.
Forrest.
I don't want to say anything
Are you-
because
are you-
we're on the wrong internet to
are-
be talking. So
Are you hearing this?
We're not
shit?
even on internet. We're on Jaden's
Are-
headphones, to be
Are you
honest.
hearing this shit right now?
I'm just not gonna. I'm not
Look.
gonna say anything.
Like, I wouldn't pursue any of this shit. Not for me.
He said he's okay
We're
with
in
it,
the
though.
wrong year.
But
I can't go
I'll
any
tolerate-
further down.
I'll
So,
tolerate
like-
some of the dojins that come out with it.
Wait, actually, trigger warning. We should probably cut this part out. Feels bad.
I don't know how far you guys went because
We
I
went
made
pretty
myself a
far.
drink.
Eric
went to
Eric
our
pretty
word.
much just said he's okay with rape dojin.
Some rape dojin, yeah.
Yeah, I think
And about that life.
it's okay.
That's
Hey,
okay. That's okay. I
anyway.
get it. I get it.
I've dabbled in it. I ain't about that life.
Ah,
Yeah, but the most part, I'm not okay with it. But there's something I'm like,
well,
all right.
That's just something I want to talk about.
okay.
Yeah,
So anyway, I think we went from lollies like all the way to different types of dojin.
BDSM,
I
all
think that was
that.
a pretty good discussion. So we could move on to shows from
How
the
about
season.
shows where you've just been watching?
all right, all right.
Yeah, shows we've
this
just been
season.
watching.
All right,
doesn't have to be-
motherfucker. Overlord, what are your thoughts about it? I know so much about this. I ain't gonna say shit
So-
until the rest of you guys are done.
So I've basically more recently, especially at work and stuff, when people ask me like what I think of Overlord or if I suggest it, basically the way I explain it to them is like Overlord basically kind of takes the isekai genre and makes it good.
It's for me. I know I said I wouldn't say shit, but like it's non-spoiler shit. Like I feel like it's kind of like the One Punch Man of the genre,
Yep.
Yep.
just because of how much of a counterculture attack it is on it. And I don't know. I love it.
I think
Granted, Konosuba is like halfway isekai, and it's like one of my favorite anime.
It's
I think
pretty much.
more so that is more focused on the comedy aspect than it is on the isekai aspect.
Yeah,
It uses
yeah.
isekai elements to push for the comedy aspects of it,
But
but
meanwhile, Overlord just makes isekai like so fucking good.
I think
I don't even know.
I think Overlord's amazing. It's
Overlord
funny.
is great. It's
I'm
it's
really
brilliantly
excited
written.
for the shit that Eric is alluding to because he's like big dick energy and read all the
Praise,
graphic.
praise
read all of
be
the light
unto our
novels.
sheep overlords.
Anyway,
See,
I
well,
love the I love the Overlord world in general. It's just so well, just like created.
So
yeah,
the
Overlord
only-
is fucking great.
The only thing about this season is they're talking more about the village, which is a little bit slower to me right now. But I know it's building up
That's
to
fine.
later on, which
That's
is fine, which every show has.
That's cool.
But I'd like to see more Ainz.
Okay.
So-
okay. I don't remember her name.
Henri.
Henry,
Which
Nope.
girl are we talking about?
No, the
Color hair.
Lupuris.
no,
Lupus Regina.
no, the little elf. Ainz is just like I'm gonna grab your waist.
Oh yeah, Aura.
Ara.
Yeah.
Ara. Mara is the
Loli?
girl. Mara is the boy. Ara, I would say Lolly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
she
Okay,
mentioned
so we're in
she
agreement.
mentioned
We're in
she
agreement.
was
Too
young
too young
for
to
like hella young.
for elf
She said
ages.
even
Yeah.
then she said like we're not even talking like 200-300 years. She said she's 70.
Yeah,
It
but
was
she's
in this last
young.
episode.
She basically
So-
said she's too young to mate. Is
but
kinda
at the
word.
same time she's just like so Ainz.
It's like who's best girl?
So I won't say what will build up because of that, but for me that's such a funny moment. Just
It was
mostly
really
because
funny, and it
like
was
for me,
adorable.
like on his side he's like, oh look at my child, she's so cute. She's like, look at my kid, and she's like, how do I feel about this?
That just that little snippet was fucking adorable.
It was pretty
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
What's
It was
funny
very
is all the
good.
memes that came out of it. Like, if you remember the scenes from season 1 where the first time Albedo and Shalltear were going at it, they had the hissing the scene where
Yeah.
like they're like and they like showed like a clip of their two faces just going at it, and everyone's
Yep.
like, yeah, so this is a pretty good day and whatever the fuck else. It was funny because like all the memes that I saw were like mostly referencing Aura's reaction to Ainz touching her, and then the other two just reacting with the hissing faces after
That's
that.
hilarious. That's actually great.
So I have
No, Overlord's
A
really
challenger
good.
has appeared. Hello.
Overlord's really.
So I have a
really good,
question
though.
about the season or episode that just happened. When he knocked out all the orcs, did he kill them or just knock them out?
He killed most of them.
Okay, can I know you used
No,
a
he
level 5?
he killed all of them. He
Because
killed
you used a
all of them.
level 5 like despair spell and they just all
so-
dropped, and I was like,
yeah,
what the
yeah,
fuck?
he killed all of them.
Okay.
He scared them so hard,
They just died.
their hearts stopped,
Okay.
and that's it. They died. So the
I want that
Naga,
power.
the Naga, the snake creature,
Yeah.
because he didn't.
He wasn't
Uh,
there.
No, he was there, but because he wasn't
Yeah.
the target of the initial AOE that comes of the fear spell,
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, they all just died. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna leave this side.
He's like, I ain't about this
Come
life.
hell or high water, I'd rather cut off my own arm before I like betray this dude."
I thought it was great that the orcs hated him, or the trolls hated him because he had a long name. He thought he was a coward. He was like, this guy, Goo, or whatever. It was like,
The play that Ainz did is like, "Oh, okay, all right. So let's see how much of you, as a coward, react to what I'm about to do," and just fucks his shit up. Yo, I don't get it. I don't understand why you hurting me.
I
when
really-
he kills
I
the
really
first
like
one
it.
walking into, he's just like, oh,
So
I is too strong.
something that was glossed over back during the scene where Henri, the main village
Yeah.
chieftain, was going back to the village. It was glimpsed at and hinted like, oh wait, Ainz is interacting with a lot of this shit. You can tell by Hamusuke in the background with his tail wagging.
Yeah.
You can see with Nabe talking with her, and Ainz actually showing himself as Momonga or Momon.
Yeah.
During the scene where the cleric or the clerk talks to Henri, she's like, "Please, I need you to talk to me, or else I'm gonna suffer with it." Something that goes through is they actually go through with the scene of in the light novel where Henri goes in the back and talks to both the head guild master, that cleric, and also Momonga's just hearing off in another room, off in the side, and hearing what everything's going on and seeing if he approves of this or not. Everyone's like, so can you tell us what you're going through? And he's just, they're all like scared as fuck. While they're going through this because I forget exactly, but Momon told them that he told them some sort of what they perceived was a threat, but he said like, "Yo, let's be real here. Why are you fucking with my girl?" I'm like, "Oh God, why are we doing this?" And they go through like this whole spiel of trying to help her out with this. Ultimately, I don't know if it's gonna be shown in the next episode, but they ultimately come to the conclusion that they can't really do much because it comes with the whole a quasi perspective of the Senate and state type of thing. With the Senate is over stepping what they
Yeah.
should be doing, and the
Political stuff.
Yeah,
I just want more sea bass.
you're not gonna see much of him. You're not gonna see basically anything of him. The most you saw of him was during the shower scenes, back in the quote unquote filler in that first.
That joke episode.
But
Yeah.
he's referenced a bit, but like there's not much that built up off of that. Like that's about it. Like he had his arc, and now they're focusing on the actual big shit that's gonna be coming up.
Fine.
I think this is one of the shows that we should probably talk about like almost every day or every week, and just keep going more into it because I think Eric knows so much about
Eventually,
it.
we'll all get to a podcast where we all know exactly what our sheep overlords are.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And when it comes, you two will come to worship how immaculate their fleece is, how wonderful they prance through their fields, and how beautiful they stand across the land.
Good lord.
You'll never forget it.
All right then. So outside of Overlord, which we're all watching, what else? What else is?
Well, we got Cells at Work.
Bless
I
that
don't-
show.
I'll be honest, I don't really care for. I just kind of been watching it because it's kind of entertaining. It's kind of cute, and like the opening song is and the ending songs
ending
are
song.
Oh,
cute as
they're
fuck.
great.
I
They're
like them.
super great.
I like them.
I like
So
all the
everyone
characters.
with good opinions, Eric aside, what do we think about Cells at Work?
Well, it's an educational show. It's just good. It's
Yeah.
just it's good. It's just good. It's just a very interesting way to portray normal things that happen.
My
Ozzy
question.
and Drix the anime.
It's Ozzy and Drix the anime.
Which is fine, because like White Blood Cell's such a dope ass character.
Yes, Red
Yo,
Blood Cell's so
how you
cute.
gonna ignore Naive Kun? The fucking
Oh, I ain't
Naive
ignoring
is
I ain't
great.
ignoring shit because Naive Kun was fucking the best.
fucking JoJo character.
Yeah, that JoJo hair.
The fucking
though,
hair.
Let's go.
I like that initial scene where he just punches his way through a wall and his
Yeah.
arm is the size of the rest of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, I guess he leveled up.
Yep.
But
I think
yeah, that's what.
I think all the characters are great though. It's like you got the platelets, who they're just cute. You got the red blood cells, the B cell. You got the master cell. They're going through everything at this point.
Yo, before we go on, favorite characters. Go.
From
Cells at
one,
Work?
one favorite character type. Go.
Wait,
Like in
favorite,
general or in
like
Cells at
favorite
Work?
character type in general?
Who's your favorite character?
in the show?
Okay.
Oh,
That's the stupid dog.
um.
Okay.
all
Well,
right, well,
there's a dog. So
We got a lot of background noise in the show anyway.
yeah.
yeah. In the show,
It's back
I'm-
there.
just Red Blood Cell, because like she's cute.
She is cute.
She carries baskets of food around and
That red
she
hair?
gets
Let me
lost.
just- Yeah,
The
yeah.
red hair, the red hair.
Well,
the,
the hat
the-
is a blood cell.
the misty shorts.
Yeah, I
that
saw
hat
that.
is
It's
literally
so
a blood
good.
cell. Like,
Oof.
oh, so good, so good.
Yo, if we had to talk about red blood cells though, how are we gonna talk about
The
her
senpai?
senpai?
Yeah.
That's the ooh.
Yeah, it's like,
Alright.
I feel like every episode she's like, "Listen, you gotta learn your way around this place."
All right, so Josh's Say is the main character, the mainstay, short hair, red blood cell. All right, Forrest,
I love whenever the platelets come on. They're just so damn
fucking
cute.
lolly
They're
con. I
so
fucking
cute.
hate
I
it.
don't give a shit.
Call him the
I don't
cops.
know Forrest.
They're
I don't know.
so
I don't know.
cute to
I don't know.
watch.
I don't know.
They help each other out. Everything's off like the Japanese beat too. Like their songs and stuff when they're going down. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's just
When they carried
It's
the big
perfect.
box down the steps.
oh
Yeah.
my
Dude,
god.
and like I
I'm
was like,
stressed
oh, they're
out.
so cute. Like I know.
But when they almost
they're
like,
struggling
yeah,
too,
when
they're like,
struggling, they're like,
oh, they're gonna make it. Should we jump in?
and the platelets meanwhile are just like, we're fine, we got this. Like we're gonna make it down the steps.
All right, so platelets, Eddie.
Oh, I'm going next.
It doesn't have to be
It doesn't have to
favorite
be
female
different from
characters.
what we said.
It just has to be favorite character
Type.
Type.
or,
Type?
like,
So,
or
like,
favorite
all
character
together.
specifically. Either or.
Yeah.
Either or, and which one you like the most.
Who's your favorite? What's your favorite thing that comes on screen?
Oh,
Could even be the monsters.
Good.
actually, no, that's what I'm going to go with. It's going to be the germs. The germs are great.
Germs. The German design.
The
I think
germs
they're
are
amazing.
wonderful.
Especially the one that was like, I've understood everything that you guys have built. But have you understood the platelets? The what?
The what?
Whistle sound, here's the large map.
So,
I like the germs. I like the germs
For
a lot.
me, my favorite character easily is the fucking the long dark-haired woman that sits there like, I wonder what this knob does. I wonder
Oh,
what this does.
the master cell.
It just fucks with the rest of the body.
the
And
fat
it's like,
cell.
yo, what
Master
the fuck?
cell.
The mask. That's like a mask.
The
cell.
fat cell.
What's the fat cell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
Reading the
How she's
manual.
like, huh, I don't understand, but I'm gonna do this. And it was like, God, why?
So my question to you: is this show gonna change anything with self-harm in Japan?
Hell
Be-
no.
No.
I don't get what you mean. Like, I don't get the connotation between how
Yeah,
Because-
that's
they
just similar with the rest of what
connect.
they've set up.
Because
I get that self-harm and suicide is a big epidemic
Yeah.
both in Japan and also in the world, but I don't see
They-
how that has to do with something that's been establishing itself as something that's been like, yo, here's some basic human
Did
body
they
traits.
did they publicly announce pretty much that it's to tie in to that?
No.
no.
Oh, okay. Then
I'm just
I,
wondering-
I
don't
see it.
think
I
it'll
see it as
affect
purely
at all.
educational. It's
Yeah,
just what it is.
But now people like certain parts of that show, so they don't want to like harm those characters. I'm gonna put quotations around that, so that those characters are in your body, so they don't want them to die, so they will not kill themselves.
I'm
or
gonna
not
go.
harm
I'm gonna go
themselves.
with no.
No,
No.
I don't think
Okay.
that'll-
I don't.
That's-
I don't
that's
think
the
that.
good-
I don't think.
especially
that
because I
changes
don't think it's
anything.
that type of show.
Yeah.
No, I mean, did they loot the platelets? Yes. Are they willing to not harm
Wait, did
themselves?
they
to not
loot
hurt
the
the
la-
platelets?
The,
Also,
the
yes.
company itself looted the platelets?
We're talking
But
about-
did we as the
Yeah.
weeb culture
Yes,
react
yes,
to it?
yes, yes, we
It's
did.
expected. Don't loot this. It's gonna be looted.
It's gonna.
Everything's
happen.
looted.
No matter what it is, it'll be looted.
Exactly. So that's that show then. That's that good show then. What is everyone watching?
All the
Is everyone
things.
watching Hanibado?
All right, hold
Yep.
on. I'll start first because my list is short. I'm watching the badminton show,
That's
Okay,
not
Hanibado.
Overlord, because you know your boys. That's his favorite. That's his favorite show of all time. His favorite series. I'm watching the Blood Cells because memes. I'm watching Two Shitty Harems, and I'm watching Lord of Vermilion because it's fucking hilarious how bad it is. It's so great. I don't even care. It's like, for me, I've gotten to that. I think I can enjoy Transformers type of mentality.
Oh, good
But not actually Transformers itself, but shit around the similar genre of a smaller scale, I guess.
Oh my.
Because they have less of a budget to work with. So there's more mistakes on top of what was already bad.
Well-
That's my shit.
It sounds so. We're all watching Hanibado.
Yes.
Yep.
Great ass show.
Dude, that
Is-
show's
is that-
fucking
Is that
great.
the badminton or the
Yes,
that's the
badminton
badminton
Yeah, I've
one.
been watching that.
Good lord, it's so good.
I mean, I'm also watching the beach volleyball one.
I started
How to
it.
Receive,
I
but
started it as well. I just need to catch up.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I haven't started
It's a good
anything
show,
with
I
the
just
volleyball
don't
one.
like it.
I know it's pretty decent in terms of its niche, but I just haven't started it.
Yeah,
It's
just
cute.
Is it
haven't done
Haikyuu? Fuck no.
Dude,
But
no-
is it,
nothing
is
will
it-
ever be good as Sore fly.
There we go.
And that
That's
shit
a
was
good-
like, oh yeah, put me in, coach.
That's some good shit, dude. That's some very good shit.
Hell yeah. So
But-
Hanabado's
Hanabado's
really good.
brilliant.
It's so
Like
stressful.
it's
great.
animation.
It
though.
is
It's just
fucking
like,
stressful.
oh my gosh, it's beautiful though. It is
yeah.
a beautiful
But
show.
Every set that they play, like punching that little shuttlecock around, is just like, it's got me like.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my god.
Mungus.
Oh, should we talk about the absolute disappointment that is Angels of Death?
All right,
Oh,
so
yeah.
my main gripe with it is that the first episode set such a heavy atmosphere and such a heavy expectation for what we thought we were gonna get
Yeah.
out of the show. It's like,
Yeah.
for me, what I thought was like this horror genre-esque show where like the characters actually helpless and you have to see them react to a lot of shit, as opposed to us, press X to hide, press
Yeah,
A to like.
I thought it'd be
dodge
Silent
everything.
Hill, the anime. That's what I was
Or
hoping.
basically, like hold F to pay respects to the show, but in all reality, it's like So this initially helpless character is actually super smart, and then she just befriends a really OP dude with a scythe.
Yeah, pretty much.
All on the guys that like she wants to die, he wants to get out, and they make a deal.
Yeah.
You fucking won't.
What?
And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
she won't, like, in the second or third episode when she meets Edward, and
Yeah.
it's just like, well, he would have just killed her right there, but she wants to die by him because of God
It,
reasons.
it just
and you're just
became
like,
it
meh.
became really weird, especially with the whole entire Floor Guardian deal and everything. And I'm just kind of like, why
So,
do you do this?
Another thing that I can that sticks out to me, I should say, is that kind of like Darling and the Franks. I know I referenced it a lot, but like it was such a disappointment. Is that it sets itself up to try to push for a certain thing or a certain couple things, but then goes in the complete other direction. It's like, at what point do we say, when is it worth it, or fucking why are we putting up with this inconsistency, or why are we putting up with this inadequacy of keeping up some sort of a continuity to it, to say that yeah, it's pretty good, or yeah, it's pretty decent. And it's like, okay, well, it's a different type of show, but reflectively looking back on it, there's gonna be a lot of moments where we think out like, yo, well, that didn't actually help anything overall, or that didn't actually stick with what they were trying to push for. It was just kind
Yeah.
of some random like screen time. They were like, oh, I guess I should have to fill up some screen time. And
See, and it's interesting too because I feel like it made the switch almost in the next episode, like almost like episode 2.
and then you felt it really hard in episode 3.
Yeah.
In episode 2, you're like, wait, is this a different type of show? And then
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just like us misconstruing the first episode.
No, the first episode was put out. Basically, it was like she's helpless. I guess towards the end of
Because
the episode,
because at the end of the episode, it does kind of start leaning towards
but
the stuff that sucks now.
But it was first like 20 minutes of it was just like, she's helpless. There's
Yeah.
nothing she's gonna be able to do.
She's helpless. She's lost a lot. She has to react to this weird ass environment. She's on the verge of death almost every time.
So in other words, like let's say it's a 20 something minute episode, right? 27 minute episode.
23.
Okay. So we loved the first 15 minutes of an entire series.
Look, I'll be honest. I like how it is now too. I
Yeah.
just don't think that they're the same show.
No,
I
Okay,
think
okay.
I
Yeah,
think
okay,
my
that makes sense. That
my
makes
biggest
sense.
issue is that it's trying to do 2 different shows at the same time, or it tried to. So the first episode was actually like a bait of sorts. Like, this is what we're trying to push for. JK, we're not doing some sort of a horror film. We're doing some moe counterculture meme type of shit.
Some edgy
And it's
shit.
like,
Yeah.
well, at this point, I'd rather you did the first episode like the other ones and try to push for that feeling, so we knew what
Yeah.
to expect out of it.
Yeah,
Which,
like-
again, going back to Darling and the Franks, was one of my issues with it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
am
yeah.
I excited to watch the episode that premiered yesterday or today to see how they get out of the gas room? Yeah, but at the same time, am I like tripping balls on it like the first episode?
No.
Well, to me, like, I'm gonna start saying some of the things I like. Like, I do like the idea of the Floor Guardians. I think it's an interesting.
I think the idea.
Yeah, I like
is
it.
neat.
Yeah, and I think it, like, all the characters, they have interesting personalities. You all know that they're obviously gonna pass them because that's how the show's flowing. But the only thing I really like about it is I don't know where the show can go in many directions on
Right.
how it could end either at the 12 episodes or how many there are, or it might just go on for.
I think it's gonna be a one-course show. I think it's already been announced that it's gonna be a one-course
Oh
show.
no, yeah, but I
No,
think
but
it
mean,
might
like,
be
the
like,
idea of whether it's self-contained or not.
yeah, it could go to a manga
Ah.
or something like that.
Like the thing is like, so at the end of those 13, is there a definite end,
So,
or does it pull a dark tower and
Looking-
it's like, hey, you're back at the beginning?
looking
again?
at a recent trend that's been going on for the past, I want to say like maybe 8 years, there's been a lot of those shows that allude to, you should read the source material. It's like, all right, I could see it going to that sort of end just because of how it's been glossing over a lot of potentially heavy developments that have gone into it.
Yeah.
Like, specifically looking at episode 1, the doctor.
Yeah.
And then just kind of glossing over and like, whoa, he's dead now. It's like, oh, okay. So you build up all 20 minutes just to kill off a dude randomly.
Yeah.
And then be like, whoa, you should read the source material in case you want some heavier or some more developed shit. I don't know. It seems a little intellectually dishonest to me in the sense of them trying to promote an anime, which I feel should be, as you mentioned, self-contained
Yes,
in its
yes.
medium that's
Yeah.
trying to portray itself.
Yes. And
in terms of a show to kind of steer towards a show that was like a great little nugget of a surprise for me this season though is Homes of Kyoto.
That one's a good
I
show.
haven't seen it.
I haven't
That's a
started
very
it.
good
I
show.
didn't even know about it. And
That's a
I was
very
just
good
like,
show.
Huh. The premise of this sounds kind of cool. Watched the first episode, like, okay, this is pretty cool. Now I'm on like it's like week 3, I think,
Like 4 now.
either 3 or 4,
Yeah.
and I fucking love it.
It's a good
Like,
show.
Homes
It's
of
a-
Kyoto.
it's
So
a
I
ve-
haven't
it's a
seen
very
any
good
of it.
show.
What's it about? Give me a quick little premise without.
So it's about this college student who runs like his grandpa.
Yeah, his grandfather's antique
So
shop.
he runs his grandfather's antique shop, and as it turns out, this college student is like an antique prodigy that can basically look at any type of antique artwork or really antique anything
Well,
and tell you everything
The thing
about
is,
it.
I think it branches further than
It
just
branches
antiques.
further into that, yeah, because like
As
eventually
the
he
name-
ends up like solving these like
Mini
little,
mysteries.
like social mysteries
Yeah.
and stuff. But with this part-time like high school girl that he decided to hire on, and
So
it's really
I,
neat.
I almost consider it, seeing his character, like how his character is almost as if a younger Sherlock Holmes ran an antique shop.
So is it like Hyoka and it's
No.
and
Not
it's-
exactly like
no,
Hyoka,
I'm not
but
saying it's exactly like in its terms of like what type of show it is
Yeah.
or like how like with the plot line itself, but like in terms of how it carries itself and like the general, I guess, timing of development and the timing of
I would
plot lines that they pursue.
I would still say no.
Okay.
it's probably a little bigger than a lot of this kind of small baseness that Hyoka was, just for the pure fact it was based in the high
Plus,
school setting and so it was smaller.
Like,
But
Holmes is such a cool fucking character.
yeah, but so I guess it's probably a little bigger in a sense than probably what Hyoka wanted to pull in a very small kind of slice of life kind of deal.
Okay.
But
It's really,
it does have
it's
a
really
little
good,
bit of
though.
that feel. It is very episodic,
Okay.
so it runs kind of episode to episode.
Yeah, definitely episodic, but at the same time, like the character development and their feelings towards each other being changed or growing stronger or whatever, obviously is maintained.
Yeah, and both
throughout the
characters play
episodes.
off each other very well. So I
Yeah.
mean, you have that good, and they both kind of help each other grow, and you learn a bit about each character as everything progresses because of the different things they solve. So it's
Been a nice
it's a
little
good show.
surprise
Yeah,
for
it's a
me
good
this
little show.
season.
It's a good little show to just dip
I'll
into
have
and
to start
watch.
it too. There's
I'll
so
give
much.
it a peep.
So that is that one.
Has
Yeah.
anybody been watching Attack on Titan?
Dude, I've been reading it and
No.
I'm what would be relatively 2 seasons or 1 season ahead in terms
Yeah.
of what's coming up. The plot lines that they push, a lot of people have been saying they're really interesting and they really develop a lot of shit. Not really. There's a lot
No.
of things that they try to push for that are like, all right, I can see where this could kind of be a storyline, but at this point, I'm so diluted by the notion of everything else that's going along and the bullshit Deus Ex Machina that kind of saves Eren and all of his bullshit friends.
Yeah.
That like, I don't really care. I know you're gonna lose some people, but in terms of relativeness, a lot of them I'm not gonna care for. A lot of them I'm just gonna die like, oh no, the people that die in this world. Ah, how tragic.
yeah.
Oh well, we forgot about them already.
So- I started to watch the first 2 episodes. The story's but he did say that because during those chapters he was sick when he was writing them, that he is basically going to blow through these as fast as possible and kind of rewrite what he was doing because he did not like what he did. But all I can say is in episode 2, in the first 5 minutes, is probably one of the best animation scenes I've seen in a very long time. With, was it Aaron? No, Levi.
That's Levi.
Levi escaping from Kenne.
Uh,
It is so good.
again, since I read it, I know the scene that you're referencing, and it's I found it pretty interesting. I mean, I've obviously been mostly up to date. I'm behind like maybe 5 chapters at this point,
Yeah.
but
So I think the story's stupid, but I think the
I
animation
think the story's
was
always
on
been
point.
stupid. Well, that's the thing though. It's like you have a source material that's not really good to begin with,
Yeah.
and then you have Wit Studio, which makes amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, so there's obviously those limitations. I mean, you can take some creative liberties, but you can't take that much
No, no,
creative
no.
liberty, right? With storytelling and stuff like this.
The thing is,
But-
it's not like they can't do any because the writer is now
Oh
doing
yeah,
all of
he's
it,
doing
so
the writing, right?
They have no say almost
Yeah.
in what's going on.
And they can just do the best they can with what they got, and they just
Yeah.
do good animation because that's just what
And
Wit
it's
Studio
that's
does.
the point I'm watching the show for at this point is watching the animation. I can care less about the story and who
I'm
survives.
okay with watching gifs
Yeah.
of the good animation.
I'm okay
scenes.
with not watching any of it.
Yeah,
That's
I
there's
don't
that
even
too.
think I finished season 1,
I didn't either. I stopped halfway through.
and
I
I have
skimmed through
I
most
have
of it.
not read the manga whatsoever. So I'm just not.
I would recommend
Same.
not starting.
I'm
it.
not really all that interested, just because like I think I pretty much didn't make it through the first season because from what I saw, like Eden is just
He's a bitch.
He just-
yeah,
yeah.
he's
overpowered, bitch.
he's a giant bitch. So
Yeah.
just like
Physically too.
see, I'm not a fan of MCs that just like suck in general, and they're just
Yeah.
like bitches.
So he's like a Shinji with a god complex.
Yes. Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say on that show.
But no. So, and that's pretty much everything everyone's watching now, right? That's basically.
Well,
I mean, I'm watching pretty much
I know.
everything
I
this
know. There's like a
season,
little bit of
but-
everything. I mean,
Oh,
there's all
from
the shitty harems we're
last
going
season.
through.
Did you
Yeah, the
watch
shitty
the I forgot the name of the show. I think it's After the Rain, where it's pushing for the it's
Oh yeah,
the
that one with
romantic
the high
quasi
school kid
comedy
and like
about
the
the high school
40.
kid trying to get shipped with the 40-year-old dude.
You should know this.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. I haven't seen it though.
I stopped
I
watching.
know what you're talking about, but I don't think I watched
I
it.
I didn't watch the last like 3 episodes of it. And
I
that
know.
was-
Okay, so I do know what you're talking about because it's a high school girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I know what you're talking about, but no, I did not end up watching it.
Something I
No.
found really interesting was the stigma that wasn't present during the initial release of it, and also the live action rendition of it. Where like typically, if you see like a male, like in this situation with the male dude who's older as fuck, trying to get shipped with like the younger high school
Is he
girl.
trying to get shipped with her or the other
No,
way around?
Other way
she's getting
around.
shipped with him. But the idea of like that ship still trying to get pushed is being supported more or less. Whereas like in real life, like if you see like the older dude trying to get shipped with the girl, it's like
Well, in Japanese,
hold up,
digger.
put him
Yeah.
in jail,
Yeah.
put him in jail.
Well,
type
that's
of thing.
probably that's probably why.
the problem is it's also Japanese culture and it's a little bit different on the age
Yeah,
thing out
yeah,
there.
yeah, that's true.
So
That is true as well.
that's why it's kind of fine.
It's
I
in that
guess.
fuzzy gray area.
Yeah, it's more fine in Japan than it would be here.
Yeah,
That's all I can
It's
say.
not, it's not part of
Overall-
all culture. our
Overall, I'm
cultures.
okay with the ship. I really like the show. I still have to watch the last 3 episodes, but
I mean,
Does
we
it
were
recommend
okay
to
with the
watch?
ship of irregular magic high school. So
And then that was incest.
Yeah,
technically it isn't.
I know,
Listen.
I
But
know, but
kind of
it pretty much is. But we shipped it anyway.
we shipped
So-
it. We shipped it before we had a good idea that it wasn't what it was.
And then I
Yeah.
shipped it after. So it's
Yeah.
fine.
We kept the ship all the way through. Screw it.
Yeah, we had to patch a few holes, dump out some buckets of water, but we set that bitch afloat for sure.
Hell yeah.
Oh, speaking of last season, did you finish Uma Musume?
Fuck yeah.
So I finally finished it this weekend. I loved it, except for the last like 10 seconds where they kind of copped out at the end, which I kind of thought was going to happen.
Special week is fucking adorbs.
Yes.
Special week, Silent Suzuka, and I love Vodka. Those are my favorite.
They're all adorbs.
Vodka's pretty great.
Honestly, all the horse girls, all of them, adorbs.
I'm just-
Absolutely adorable.
But I liked how it kind of went through. Like I thought she would win most of her races, but there's just tons of times where she just
Yeah,
lost.
she loses like hella races, and
Yeah.
it's nice because like I like how they were just like, oh, we're just gonna make this meme ass show about horse girls, and everyone's gonna like it because they're
An
like
idol.
idols. But really they're like, oh wow, there's a lot of character progression in this shit.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot. It was a well-paced show. It was good.
Yeah,
It was good.
So
Everything but the ending where they kind of all tied. I thought the tie would have been between
Silence
Silent
and
Suzuka
Special Week.
and Special Week, yeah. And then everybody else kind of would have been tied.
So I just realized that I didn't look for Yuri Dojin for both of those two, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and do that.
Okay,
You're
let's do
missing
that.
out, my dude.
I'm,
But then
I'm
again,
missing out temporarily.
Sorry, that was my phone hitting the table. But a lot of the dojins, mostly literary. And rape.
No.
Damn.
I wouldn't suggest them.
What, with like the coach?
No, with
Oh.
random horses.
Oh wait, horse people.
Actual real horses.
Oh no!
Oh,
And-
no.
Beastie,
I wouldn't
no.
suggest it. I wouldn't
Oh,
suggest it.
no.
It's pretty tilting.
Just close your eyes and we'll just pretend we never saw it.
Well, I'm actually really upset now. I
Wouldn't
really,
suggest it.
I was
Stay away.
really looking for some special week in Silent Suzuka
This is
action,
the effigy
but-
of my hopes and dreams. Stay away from it.
Yep. Speaking of being,
Damn, that
speaking-
makes me sad.
Real
no,
sad
no,
boy
you'll be
hours.
fine. Just don't read it. Just don't think about it.
I will write my own dojin, and I will draw everything.
Please
I'm
do.
ready to look.
And
I'm
I-
looking forward to these.
I will beat
figures.
off to it for you.
Hell yeah! I already got my first.
I'll report it.
That's fine.
I believe in equality, and there's got to be a counterbalance to a certain force. So I'm here doing my part for the universe.
I hope you guys like stick figure like horse dicks, because that's pretty much what it's gonna be.
Can't wait. Is that
Like,
his leg? No, I think
like,
it's his arm.
I'm pretty much gonna
It's
copy
his face,
paste.
man.
I'm pretty much gonna copy paste the special week into like a panel, and like hand draw the other. Like,
See, it's a
horse.
stick figure and a copy paste.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Anyway, speaking of sadness, Flavors of Youth came out. It's so good.
Flavors of Youth.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is this on?
Netflix.
Netflix.
It's an hour, 15 hour, 20 minutes, 3 short stories, 20 minutes apiece.
Oh, I know what this is. It's out now.
yes.
Oh, bless! I gotta watch that.
Yeah, we
It
watched it today.
is
I still know that's the
so,
arc of the anthology.
it's so good. It hurts. It's a roller coaster. That's all.
Dope.
I-
I was actually so excited for this.
It's really good animation
Hell
too.
yeah!
It's the
All
same
right.
animation studio who did Your,
Your
Name.
Name, yeah.
So
I'm watching this shit
Yeah,
like
good-
tomorrow.
It's good stuff.
Hell
was really
yeah.
good.
I'm gonna say that the third arc was the best. First arc, then second arc.
Dude, the first arc was straight food porn. It was
The
pretty
third arc was shit.
great.
Don't
It was
tell
great.
me this.
Don't listen to him.
Well,
I won't
actually,
spoil it.
listening to Eric on some of his opinions is really tough. Not the listening aspect. What I mean is I should
Sorry to hear
be
him.
abiding by them is difficult. Listening to them not so much.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But it's interesting. It also takes place in China and not Japan.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell the difference because they go over like the first one's over noodles, and I can't remember the exact name. Zin something
Well,
noodles.
spoilers, man.
So good.
Spoilers.
No.
Nothing.
it's not
Nothing really
spoiler.
happens in the third arc. There's some teases and some
Someone gets
glimpses
fingered in
as
the
to
butt.
potentially what happens.
Wait, what?
But ultimately, nothing really comes of it, and it's just like the third arc felt like a waste of time, to be honest, in terms of what you were trying to expect out of it, given the premise of what happened in the first two arcs. So personally, I felt like the third arc wasn't really worth it.
I feel like you just expect too much out of a lot of things.
I feel like I'm
including
trying to stick
myself and most
with the
shows.
consistency of what came up with the first two arcs.
But you didn't
As
watch
what
the
But you
first
said
two.
you only
As
watched
opposed
the
to
two have,
last
hyped
like,
one.
you two, as hyped by you two guys, and what you explained to me via the little glimpses, it felt like the first two arcs, a lot of shit went down in terms of what was happening to the characters in the third arc. Not much really
Yes
happened.
and no. Like the first one kind of does,
Not much happened in the third arc.
but
The third arc was
I almost-
flashback arc,
yeah,
but
Spoilers.
that's whatever.
it's not.
And
really.
then they're all kind of like not super big crazy things.
like they go into the characters really quick, and then something happens. It's the usual curve. Character, then you got the pinnacle of something bad or good happens, and then
Like how
it
they
gets-
cope with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean each one's only like 20 minutes long, so it's not like you can do.
I don't know. You watch
super
it, Josh,
crazy
and
things.
tell us next week what you think of it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can tell us what you
I
think
guess
of
I
it.
will. I guess I will.
And I think the last thing I kind of finished is Encouragement of Climb. Stupid name. It's basically Eurocamp but for climbing.
I read about it, wasn't super interested because Eurocamp will always be best camping show.
Yes, it is best camping show. But to see them go through just showing you how to climb certain stuff, I like it. I like it.
Let's see. I'm super happy My Sweet Tyrant is still going.
Oh my god. The
I
last two
dropped it after
episodes.
episode 2.
You fucking
Oh, man.
suck, dude.
I just it's too much to try to keep up with, and for the little time frame that it
They're
has,
3 minutes.
dude, for the little time that it has,
It's not.
I
Even
don't-
30
I don't
minutes.
wanna-
It's like a minute and a half.
I don't want to wait on the week by week basis for a minute and a half of that shit. I'm just gonna wait till the
It's
end.
not really something that you wait week by
And
week for.
maybe
You just
I'll
kinda,
watch
it
it.
just kind of shows up as a new episode while
and
you're watching
maybe
the
it'll
others, and
show
you're
up
like,
on my
"Oh,
screen while I'm doing everything else. Until then, no.
Oh, I forgot. I'm also watching that shitty Idol show where the girl is
Oh,
becoming an
Music
idol.
Girls.
Yeah,
I'm watching that.
it's
I'm not.
it's not great, but I'm gonna stick through it because I think it's kind of funny.
Other than that, since Crunchyroll added Trigun last month, I started rewatching Trigun.
Oh, you're
because
rewatching
I
Trigun?
fucking love Trigun.
No, thank you, dude. Too old for me.
It's
Eric-
so good though.
God, Eric.
Oh,
fucking
I guess
Dude,
suck
I
sometimes.
can't. It's so fucking old.
It's so good.
God, you suck.
I don't give a
sometimes.
shit,
The
dude.
art
It's
is
awful to
great.
look at. It hurts my eyes to look at that shit.
Not even.
See,
Yeah,
at
not
that point,
really.
it's because you guys already watched it at some point in your life. For me, I haven't watched it at all. Trying to watch it again, it's like, nah. Or I
Well-
guess watch it in now, I should say. It's like, no, no thank you. No thank you at
It's
all.
no different than like watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah, but I already watched Dragon Ball as a thing. If I already watched Trigon, sure, I'd watch it again. But I
I
didn't.
guess that makes
I,
sense.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
get into
man.
Dragon Ball if I didn't watch it initially.
That,
Yeah.
I see that. I mean, you're still wrong, but I get it.
Yeah, alright. Alright, dude.
Very well.
It's understandable.
Yeah, I understand it.
It's what they,
nostalgia, how dare you?
It's not
Okay.
even nostalgia, dude.
It's
The
a good
is just
show.
fucking great.
what's the rating on? Is it like an 8.0 or something?
Yeah, like I'm gonna trust the same idiots that gave How to Train Your Dragon 2 a decent score. Shit was awful.
Wait, I
Wait,
never.
it wouldn't
be
oh,
the same
wait,
idiots,
I never
though.
gave that shit a different score.
It's out of the same principle of trusting the general
Wait,
populace.
I don't even know if I've seen the second one actually. I don't
I
think I have.
haven't.
I hated the second show. There was a moment where I almost cried, but then the main character started talking. I'm like, nope, I'm out of it. That's it. I lost any sense of care that I had for the main characters. Gone out the window. Fucking nope.
Damn.
Damn indeed.
That's fine. The first one was good.
First one's great. I love the first one.
The second one never happened.
Yeah, didn't happen. Nothing else happened after that.
They all died actually. Nuke it.
Uh huh. Yep. Nothing happened. So that's basically everything, yes? That we've all watched and everything.
I would say it's everything worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's little shows.
I
that
mean,
Well,
watch.
at least for now. Like again, it's only 4 episodes in. I'm not really sure where.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
few shows that are only a handful of episodes in. I mean, what
Some
we got
are
halfway
There's
further,
still
but-
shows that are
we-
starting now.
we-
You're just like, what the fuck?
We got what, like 13 episodes, 14 episodes into Darling before we were like, well, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 for me, motherfucker.
Uh,
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I'm so
everyone-
great because I recognize it was shit at 3
oh my
episodes.
god, no! I just got disinterested because of it. It's not even about so much of bragging as much as it is just like, well,
it is.
me.
It is. It's
me
totally about bragging.
Nah,
It is.
dude, it was me bragging. Like I'd be more trying to bash you guys on that point because of it, rather than just me like, nope.
You
I'm
still do
fucking out of this
subliminally,
shit.
so it's still bragging.
No, dude.
Yeah.
Look, when I think you got bad shit taste, I'm gonna just straight out be in front about that shit. I'm not gonna try to like be like some sort of passive aggressive aim at that sort of shit.
It's not about passive aggressiveness.
Sure, my dude.
It's about bragging.
Yep.
Sure, my dude.
Like when we were talking about Overlord, did you guys hear how many times Eric mentioned he read the light novels? Or at least mentioned the
I
light
didn't know that.
novels?
Twice.
Many times.
Twice.
I can probably count
enough,
on those, but
enough
it's
for
probably more.
everyone listening, meaning you, Jaden, that like the other 3 of us have not read the light novels.
Have you not read the light novels, Eddie?
I've read like one.
Oh, okay.
The fourth one was it that I made
Uh-huh.
you read? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like, listen, read this 4th one. Oh, okay.
It's a pretty good standalone arc.
Yeah, it's fine. I read it. It was great.
Okay.
I wish I could read.
I see. I've been meaning to read the other ones. I just haven't done it.
Forrest, do you need me to teach you how to read, man?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Can we do it like we should do that as a podcast segment? Will you teach me how to read?
teach Forrest how to read? I'm about it.
We gotta start with like 2-letter words first, though.
Huh.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
can't even start with because it's 3.
I don't know how to
It could
spell
be.
that.
Wait. It could be 2.
It's pretty much HUH.
That's
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
too many
yeah,
letters.
man, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Too many letters.
But yeah.
HU.
Oh, yeah, I understand what you mean now.
All right,
I got
cool,
you. I
cool,
got
cool.
you.
Neat. And I guess that's. I don't have much else.
No.
That's all I got on the season and what I've been watching in general.
Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Probably
Cool.
a good point.
So
Tandem Frost too.
fact of the matter is, Lolly's good, kinda.
Kinda, or whatever.
Shota's never good.
Never
No,
good. No,
never.
But then it kind of dips into the stigma that goes with the whole Yuri yaoi thing.
There is no. I mean, so there's a stigma in Japan, but Yuri Yaoi, depending
No,
on
there is
no,
a
the
huge
age
in
range-
general,
stigma.
yeah.
There is a huge stigma in how those two
in-
perceive.
well, yeah,
not
in-
just in Japan. We're
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
everywhere,
Western
yeah.
perspective of it.
Wait, really?
100%.
Oh yeah.
100%.
It's just.
Did you not
gay.
read? Okay, look. Did you know that Crunchyroll gave Yuri on Ice all of the awards?
Of course.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
Yes.
They
Did you
always
not
give it to
see
one.
any of the comments because of that shit?
No.
Everyone was pissed.
Oh my god!
yeah,
dude.
a lot of
But-
people were pissed.
So there was a lot of people that were pissed because of like, rightfully so. Like
'Cause
when it
they
comes
gave
to
it to one
animation,
show
Yuri
again.
on Ice didn't have the best animation.
Yeah,
there was lots of
yeah.
moments
No,
where it got
it
kind of
definitely
shoddy.
didn't.
It had a lot of good
yeah.
moments. Yeah, it had a good moments.
Well,
Some
even
good
then,
gifts.
like it was so fucking light in terms of like yaoi though. It was so light.
yeah, but like
That's what they can only show.
the idea was that it was pandering more so to that show because I guess the general craze that was going on because of popularity, I guess. But there was a lot of actual shows that could have won specific categories
I agree.
Oh,
that
yeah.
were glossed
Oh,
over.
yeah.
I
And
agree.
there was a lot of people that got pissed off because of that notion. But most of them, if I were to give a ratio, maybe like 70-30, were pissed off just because, but gays, brr, how dare they? And it's like, it was
Yeah.
pretty fucking toxic. It was
It was
toxic
so
as shit.
fucking light though. Like I can only imagine what it would have been like if say Citrus won all those awards. That shit was heavy
Well-
Yuri.
It's because it was a show that was watched by a lot of people. It's the same thing when you have Boku no Hero. It won all the awards last season. There's always one show that just dominates. It's Crunchyroll Awards is what's the show that's really big this year.
Then it wins all the awards.
Yeah.
It's weird that they were like, oh, well, it's yaoi, so basically, fuck that. It's like, dude, it was barely yaoi.
Yeah. It was,
Barely.
That's still a pretty decent show.
But-
It was- no,
yeah, it was a good show.
I enjoyed the show. Do I think it should have won all the awards? No.
No.
Do I think it should have gotten hate because it was
A yaoi?
quote unquote yaoi?
No.
Not even fucking close.
No.
But that's just it's just silly because like it's like there's almost no yaoi. There's almost no popular yaoi anime, pretty much. But there's plenty of popular Yuri anime.
Even then, I don't
I
know.
think it's because of the demographic. That's
Yeah.
because
yeah.
typically you'd see my guess would be it'd be like maybe a 60-40, maybe 55-45 type of ratio in terms of guys and girls watching it. But when you assume the stereotype of how many people are watching it, most people would assume that it'd be like an 80-20 domination of
Yeah.
males watching it. So there'd be a
Yeah.
typical environment that they try to push onto what they would try to expect or what they would want from the general show itself. That kind of gives these, I guess, negative connotations when it comes to
Yeah.
perceptions. And
I guess
shit.
it makes sense. I don't know.
well, the problem with the thing was that so many people that didn't watch anime started watching it too, which is good, really good. 'Cause
Yeah.
It gets people into a new genre, and people can understand like who we are basically.
And
but-
then they start with super light yaoi
Yeah, and then that's the problem too.
based
Is,
around ice skating.
yep.
Like probably, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like we got it in the Olympics, cool, and that helped out, but it should have won everything like it did. That's all. I can say.
It's whatever. For those of you that haven't seen it, it's a pretty good show.
It's a good show.
It's
You
worth
probably
it's
should- it's
worth
worth
watching.
watching, yeah.
It's 100%. It's worth watching. So, I don't know, but don't let the whole yaoi tag scare you. It's
Light
so
yaoi.
fucking light in the yaoi that you probably wouldn't even
Like
notice.
it fits in pretty well with what it's
It
about.
fits in really
Personally,
well.
Yeah.
I don't like the show because I feel I didn't like the pacing of it all in terms of what they were actually pushing for. In terms of like his Olympic run or like
can
not
see
even
it.
his Olympic run, like his was it nationals? I don't remember what he was competing for.
Something or another.
But like his competition
Something
that he
like
was pushing for, it was alright. But everything else, personally, and his, I guess all the interpersonal conflicts that were going on, I feel like they were kind of like really haphazardly in their approach. It was like, I don't really care for what they were trying to push for this. I get it. It's pretty nice, pride or whatever the fuck, but you know, I just don't care when it's just a heavy pandering of one thing.
It was
Yeah.
alright. Like it was something that I would suggest watching if you're not watching Trigun.
Yeah.
And never will.
feels bad, man.
Rippu.
Feels old,
He'll-
shitty animation. No, thank you.
You'll never know the greatness that is Vash the Stampede.
Miss me with that lame shit.
Who's the
dude.
cross guy?
That's so good.
The
His weapon.
wolf. No.
Oh, isn't it?
Hold on. I have
Just
it
gonna
right.
look it up.
I have it right here.
But I love his
Oh.
weapon. It's so good.
Oh, Wolfwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolfwood.
Some good shit.
Anyway, anybody got anything else?
No,
That's it.
I think that's a good place to end it for
Cool.
this episode.
Dope.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As always,
Subscribe, like, tell a friend.
yeah, if you happen to stumble upon us
I'm sorry.
randomly, I'm sorry, but if you like us, spread the word. Spread the word that we're here.
Even though we
Hydrate.
don't do it ourselves.
Exactly, even though we don't do it.
I
ourselves.
try to
What?
plug it. It's just like, oh wow, I love podcasts. What's it about? Anime. Oh, fuck that. that's pretty much the reaction I get. But I try to plug it.
One day we'll get
More than
the
I do.
plug.
Until I feel like the production of the show itself is actually pretty comfortable with a level that I'm okay with. I'll start promoting it. Until then, I still feel we're in the work in progress type of.
Pretty much how I
Entirely.
feel. But thank you everybody for watching as always. Peace. Have a good time.
Or not.